Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. I'm Golden Duffy, your host for this episode, which is season 2, episode 21, 7 ways to discover your purpose when you don't know what it is. So I had a question on my Manifest to Live Life Golden group. If you are in there, you can ask me questions. People are actually starting chats and they're asking me questions in the chats. So you can do that or you can inbox me. I would love to field questions for the podcast because it gives me subject matter to speak about that maybe I haven't talked about before. I don't really know if I've ever connected with this purpose question before. Potentially in season 1 there's something about purpose, but I'm coming at this from an angle of when you don't know what your purpose is. And I can speak to this because I spent years feeling lost. I mean, maybe 20, feeling seriously lost. There were ways that I overcame that at certain times. But being a stay-at-home mom for so long, if you don't have a career, if you don't have a job that you go to every day and you're just taking care of children and laundry and cooking and running people around, your purpose you could feel like you don't have a purpose because you are literally just taking care of little beings who are many times unappreciative. And so that purpose can get lost. So if you are a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, this little bit of this conversation is for you. And if you're not, just hang in there with me because I've got some points to make after that will definitely correlate for those who have not had the role of parenting and just parenting as your sole purpose for getting up in the morning. So I have no idea why motherhood didn't satisfy that feeling of purpose within me. I do think that part of it is connected to social programming. So whatever your experience is right now, whatever your career is, wherever you are in your life's path, if you are feeling like you have no purpose, part of that reason is because of the society programming. We put a lot of attention on fame and fortune and success being about money, making money. And we've seen many times people who get super successful, super famous, super rich, often end their lives because they didn't have that feeling of knowing who they truly are. I think living your purpose is knowing authentically who you are and getting up every day and sharing that authenticity with the world. I really believe that part of our purpose is what brings that soul fulfillment or you feel whole. It's also working on your wounds and your traumas and coming together in a place where you know who you are. You've got your boundaries in place. You're not really questioning your position here on earth. You're not spending a lot of time in obligation and people pleasing. So there's a life's journey here. There's a progress and an expansion that's happening along the way as you discover that authentic self. I really think it aligns with the authentic self. I think there's a great disservice when we are doing parenting, when we are a stay-at-home parent. I think there's a great disservice that happens that this isn't recognized as a true soul's purpose. There are people out there who do feel that way, you moms and dads who homeschool and, kind of throw your whole life into your children. But then once the children leave, this empty nest syndrome becomes something of massive, epic proportions because you didn't create anything along the way that could help you to have that fulfillment and purpose. So if that is you and you are facing, a different chapter in your life where you're not raising children and you're feeling very lost in that, I am speaking to you to say it is your time. It is absolutely your time. It wasn't until my kids started to get older that I was able to start to do stuff like this, where I'm really using my voice and really expressing and helping and inspiring and connecting with people to help them to live a more authentic experience where you wake up every day and you feel fulfilled. There's not many days that I wake up and don't feel a sense of power and purpose when I get out of bed. And all right, so let's go over, let's see. I think there was a disconnect. So just getting back to the stay-at-home mom thing, I think there was a disconnect from my initial dream. So my dream was always to be a mother and a wife. And once I met my husband when I was 14, that dream became so intense within me to just create a life with him and to create a family with him. And because of that, I went to college to be a lawyer, and I actually only got an associate's degree in paralegal because I graduated when I was pregnant. Still got my degree, but I remember thinking and I remember feeling in my typing my typing class, and my typing teacher was like kind of hammering, you need to be an independent woman and you need to still have a job. And I was like, I just remember thinking, all I want to do is be a mom. Like that was all that I wanted. So I think I had a disconnect from my initial dream. And when we get into parenting and realizing how incredibly challenging it is, and how in the beginning, especially if you've got the baby who's crying all the time and not really giving, not smiling yet and that sort of thing, you start to get really lost in that energy field of, who the heck am I, and what did I do, and am I ever going to have my own independence again, because these people are so dependent on you, these little beings. So I think there was a disconnect from that initial dream. It's like manifesting what you've always wanted, and then you get it and you decide it's not enough. It's like, there must be more than this. And you feel lackful energy. I really felt a lot of lackful energy within myself, because I remember doing laundry and just thinking, I am more than this. Like, I am more than just cleaning this house. I am more than just wiping butts, like I remember that feeling so often. So one of the ways that I actually navigated that, and I think it started this journey of what I'm doing now, is I started volunteering at my church. I started volunteering, I started play groups, I started doing all these different things. And that actually started me speaking in front of people. I was actually running Bible studies, and I started doing meditations. I started doing guided meditations for our women's group, and started to realize that that was part of my channel. My spiritual channel started to open. So even though I wasn't getting paid, there was that sense of fulfillment, being able to do something that made a difference to the outside world, not just to my kids. So find something like that that will definitely help you navigate. But also, it's all an unfolding. It's all an unfolding of creating healing from the wounds, the wounds that I'm not enough. I think also there was probably this feeling of disappointment of my parents, and maybe even like society, that I didn't go on to be an attorney. I think I would have been an excellent attorney. And interestingly, I did intern for an attorney for a little while and realized that that was not the world that I wanted to live in. And I'm really, now that I look back at all of this, I'm really grateful that I didn't have that degree to go against being a mom. Like, I didn't have that thing calling to me that had a lot of money attached to it and had a lot of status attached to it. So I'm grateful for that, because being a mom has been one of my greatest gifts. And being able to be there for my kids, I have four of the most amazing daughters, I believe, has contributed to their amazingness of having their mom there for them and being able to have a family like that. So I also think there's this energy of being looked down upon. And I don't know, I'm sure that was an internal thing for me, but I remember being in the classroom one day, and I was always like the classroom mom, because that was purpose, right? Like, I had my purpose. I was the class mom. I organized all the parties. Like, I just liked leadership roles. So I remember being in the classroom and we were making pancakes. It was like pancake day. And I remember pouring the pancake onto the griddle, and this woman who was actually my co-mom with me, who was an attorney, like a very high-powered attorney, I remember her saying to me, oh, that's a perfect pancake. Of course, that's a perfect pancake. And I remember feeling really weird about that, because I didn't view myself as this like rock star, even if it was just pancakes, next to this woman. Like, I felt less than next to this woman because she had achieved something that I didn't. But it turns out that she was jealous that I was able to hone a craft like making pancakes, and that I was this, stay-at-home mom that dedicated her life to her children. So it's really interesting what society will show us and what other people will show us, and how they will reflect things that we may be feeling inside. I'm sure at the time I defined that as her feeling like she was better than me, but then as I looked at it, I was like, oh wow, she actually thinks like I'm kind of perfect at stuff. Like that's, even if it's just pancakes, that's like a win, right? So it just, the way that you're perceiving things definitely creates your situations and what's going to come to you. Um, so once, going back, all right, let me just follow. I have these 7 steps that go along with finding your purpose. So if you are feeling lost right now, if you have no idea what your purpose is, and let's say, you've lived a life experience where you've had a lot of jobs, you've tried a lot of different things, and maybe you're making good money right now, but you're not feeling that sense of fulfillment. The very first thing I want to say about that is you don't have to quit your job. Many people feel like it's either or, and it can always be and. Your fulfillment and your purpose might not be your job. Your job, the way that you create income, might be completely separate from what actually brings you purpose and fulfillment. Purpose and fulfillment can come from volunteering, it can come from a side job, from a side hustle, from creating a business on YouTube. It can come from a lot of different avenues, and it doesn't have to come from that way that you're actually supporting yourself, and you don't have to quit your job. All right, so here's the 7 steps. Number 1, do yourself a really big favor and to look back at your childhood and what you pretended to be when you were little. So I used to pretend all the time that I used to put on lipstick. I would grab my mom's lipstick. I'd put on lipstick. I would stuff my bra with socks. Swear, I can't even believe I just told you that, because I had no boobs. I was so flat. So I stuffed my bra and I would pretend I was a teacher. And I would have a blackboard and I would be yelling at my students and telling them what to do. And so looking at that now, I feel like I'm a teacher. Like that's what I do. I'm teaching. So even though it's a different capacity, and maybe I thought, okay, I'm going to grow up to be a school teacher, once I actually took part in the classroom and realized what that entailed for school teachers, I did not want to be a school teacher anymore. Y'all school teachers out there, I give you huge accolades, because teaching, it's a lot. It's a lot for sure. So looking back at that and seeing where it aligns today, I was also an avid writer, like a voracious writer. I loved writing. I loved essays. I wrote a book when I was in 5th grade and actually got it hardcovered by UConn. I won this like Junior Achievements Award, and it was this ridiculous, silly little book that, my gosh, the art in it was like something else, but it was a cute story. And so now I'm an author. So all the things of your childhood might actually align with your purpose today. It might be totally different, but there is probably some synchronicities of how that's going to play out. So look back. What did you pretend to be? Was it an astronaut? Are you super excited about space? Maybe there's some stuff you can do with the planets, astrology. Maybe there's something there. So look at that. Number 2, meditate. Because going within and asking for the path to be revealed to you is the way to connection. So when you quiet your mind, you allow inspiration to come in. You allow those promptings, those things that are going to pull you towards the things. Also, what meditation does, it creates space. So it creates space between the thoughts of I'm confused and I don't know what I want to be, to the energy of solution, which is the answers that you are looking for. Anytime you are in confusion, anytime you don't know what to do, the solutions will be very hard to come, because you are in the energy of the problem. You keep saying, I don't know what to do. Your words are very powerful. Your thoughts are very powerful. So if you want to know what to do, you say, I'm open to the answer. I'm figuring it out. I'm watching the energy field. So meditation is number 1 important. I do this every week, but I got to keep doing it. Our M21 Revolution group on Facebook. We are a few weeks into this challenge, but we're going to pin all of the guided meditations up there. This group will truly help you. It's a donation-based challenge. The group is free. There's hundreds of videos in there, but it will teach you how to quiet your mind so you can create your life. All right, number 3, pay attention to what lights you up. Pay attention to what lights you up. The things that light you up are super important. Those things are going to tell you what you love, what you're good at, what is calling you to it. If you've got something that keeps calling to you, that's it. That's the purpose. And if you don't know how you're going to do it, you don't have to know the how. I have a cool story, and maybe I'll have this girl on the Golden Hour. I just love her. A friend of mine close by, she was working a job, probably working, I don't know what her financial situation was, but I think it was a pretty scary leap for her. It was a 9 to 5 job, and she was feeling underappreciated. And she decided to start walking dogs for a living. And now she's killing it. She's got team members that she's bringing on, she's got sponsors she's bringing on, and her life is completely transformed than anything she ever imagined because she loves dogs. So the potential is there for you to create something through an avenue of things you love, even something as simple as dogs, puppies, pets. So really, really consider that. And like I said, you don't have to make these quantum leaps, but I will say quantum leaps make us who we are. They make us resilient. They make us faith-filled. They help us to act fearlessly and courageously. So getting out of that comfort zone is something that really supports you living your life of purpose. Number 4, try new things. Try new things. Do new things. When we do new things, when we try new things, first of all, we get out of our comfort zone. So we get out of that we work through some fear, which is really important for our expansion and growth. We also create new neural pathways. So anything that we're learning that's new creates new pathways. It's going to keep us young. It's going to keep our brain young, especially anything you can do that has to do with hand-eye coordination or connecting your head to your feet, any kind of dance classes, things like that. My daughter actually is a hip hopper. She hip hopped through high school. She hip hopped through high school. I wish it was that easy, but she was hip hopping in high school. And after high school, she kind of let it go, and it's her passion. Like, she loves it and she is so good at it. So I kept prompting her. I'm like, well, turns out that desire was within her, and we took a couple of classes here and there. I'd go to classes with her. We ended up doing some classes at our gym, and through our gym, she met some people that have a studio right here in our town, and she just got certified to teach. So that's how it works. Find a way to do what you love, even if it's at a gym for free or whatever. It may lead to something else. So trying new things, getting yourself out of your comfort zone, and following the energy field is the greatest way to find that purpose. Number 5, stop being boring. Are you bored? Are you mundane? I had this catechism teacher. She was amazing. Fran, she was incredible. She was my kids' catechism teacher. And I always loved hearing her speak because she had this incredible energy about her. And she was just funny and vibrant. And she's still this way today. And she did a whole talk about feeling bored, about the kids being bored in class. And she said, if you're bored, it's because you're boring, because you're bringing bored energy to the table. And I never forgot that. So if you want to have a good time places, you got to be the good time. You got to be the energy. You got to spark the energy with your own energy instead of sitting there going, I need someone else to entertain me, or I need this life to entertain me. You got to entertain yourself. You got to do things that are going to create energy in your own life, or else you're just sitting around getting by. You're not living, you're just waiting to die. Number 6, get out of your comfort zone. Passion is most likely going to require walking through some fear. I don't know why that's got to be that way, but I do know that walking through fear creates the greatest potential for expansion and growth and aligns you deeply with faith. Because when we see things working out for us, when we take chances, when we take risks, we actually create the expansion that allows us to live in faith. It's huge, you guys. It's absolutely huge. Get out of your comfort zone. That thing that's been calling to you is calling you for a reason. Number 7, and I know it's uncomfortable and nobody wants to feel uncomfortable, but the truth about being uncomfortable is it creates resilience within us. It creates resilience. I actually just did a show with Candace Mitchell on my Golden Hour, TV show, which you can catch on my live section of YouTube, or you can watch it on E360 TV. Look for Achieve TV. We just did an incredible show today. She's been on my show before and she is amazing. She lost like 160 something pounds. Like, she's just amazing. So she talks about the emotional field. We talk about a lot of things in that show, but she was talking about how if you do something courageous, it will lead you to do more courageous things in your life. If you do something, like she jumped out of a plane and she realized that if she could jump out of a plane, then she has the ability to do anything, to go through anything. So in courage, there is great growth and it will help you to be more resilient in life. 7, make a list of what you are good at and what you love. And you may even want to ask those around you what your good qualities are, what you're really good at, because you might not be able to see it because we don't, right? We're more likely to criticize ourselves than we are to compliment ourselves. So those around us know us better and see us in a different light. So it might be really great for you to ask other people, what is it that's good about me? Like, what am I good at? Start asking these questions, because when we ask questions, we are connecting with answers. It's when we ask a question, there is faith in that question that we will get the answer. When we sit there and go, I'm so confused, I'm so confused, I'm so confused, the answer has no way to get in. The question allows think about the question mark. It's open. It allows an opening for information to come to you. Living, I wish I could read my writing here. Wow, that is really funky. I guess it's fulfilled. Living a fulfilled life is subjective. It's absolutely subjective to what you feel it will be. It's subjective to how you feel inside. So those deep, wounds, those deep energies of not feeling good enough. If you start asking yourself when you feel triggered or you feel depressed, if you start asking yourself, like, what's the foundation of this? What am I really feeling inside? What is at the depth of these feelings? Many times it's going to be unworthiness or not feeling good enough. Many times. And if you feel unworthy and you don't feel good enough, finding a fulfillment and a purpose will be really challenging, because if you find your purpose, you can no longer live the unworthiness. So if your life is reflecting that unworthiness, you got to work there first. You got to work on healing that. You got to ask yourself those questions. What am I getting from feeling unworthy? Oh, I'm getting safety, because I don't have to work outside of my comfort zone. What am I getting from feeling not good enough? Oh, well, I don't have to do too much. I don't have to risk failure. I don't have to risk looking like a failure. I can just be a failure, right? What? Crazy. So look at those deeper meanings and questions about that purpose, and then start really asking yourself, like, what am I good at? There are things that you are good at. There are things that you are brilliant at. There is an essence within you that the world needs more of. There is this authentic, true, whole self that you came here to be, that you came here to remember that is who you are, and to share that with the world at large. Now, waking up in the morning and feeling some sort of fulfillment and purpose doesn't have to be this grand thing. It doesn't have to be this change the world thing. It could be on a smaller scale. It could be taking care of an elderly parent. It could be raising your children. It could be, one of the jobs that doesn't look so, fancy. It could be those things, because without you, the world doesn't move the same way. So you're important and you matter. You absolutely matter. So when you start to heal those wounds within you and you start to realize, I do matter, then those things can start to unfold for you. They can come to you. They can reflect that feeling of you matter. And then before you know it, you're going to be living a life where you're jumping out of bed because you really do love what you're doing and you feel fulfilled and you have your purpose in place. I don't believe that we're supposed to walk through this life feeling lost. I don't really truly believe that. I believe there are things that get in our way that distract us, that may give us that feeling. But I think at the heart of hearts, if I could talk to any person on this planet, I could help them to see that they absolutely have a purpose for being here and a reason for being here. And if you don't feel that way at the core of your being, it's the inner work that's calling you. That's your purpose right now, is to do the inner work. You know, the idea that we're always supposed to be doing, and we live in this fast-paced society, and there's always social media to check, and there's always emails to send, and there's always, dinners to cook and laundry to get done and places to drive, and there's so much on our plates that taking a step back, taking some time for yourself. Maybe you take the next 30 days and you commit to a meditation practice, and maybe you let a few things go right now that are just zapping your energy field, and you start to ask yourself, what makes me feel like I matter? And what matters to me? What's important to me? What calls to me? What lights me up and helps me to feel really passionate? And you will receive your answers. When you ask, the answer is always given, but you have to ask from a place of expectation that the answer is there. All right, guys, that's my show for today. I don't actually have anything besides that to share. I have things coming up that I'm not ready to share yet, but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things cooking over here. We're cooking up some stuff. We had a really incredible photo shoot last night, my husband and I, on the beach with my incredible creative director, my daughter, and that's all I'm going to give you right now. But there's good stuff coming. There's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of connection. We're going to launch some things that are going to help you to find out who you are authentically. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Love y'all. Peace.